£9. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Almorad Tiles, now open.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115, or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
दोस्ता की परेशान है
जरा कर है ना सारा सौदा मुक्या वा मुल्का विच पैसे भेजने
हूं नहीं मार फूड वाले की फोन खड़का ते फ्री लोकल डिलीवरी कार मंगवा
अला ता उथे कै स्पेशल आ
ओना की लबई हाइजीन च ग्रेड 5 चीजें चंगियां म्यारी ते सस्तियां ते नाले ऑफर ही ऑफर
और क्या
ताजा गोश्त ताजी सब्जियां ते फ्रूट आटा चावल दालां मसाले ते जूस सारे बिल जमा करने गैस ते इलेक्ट्रिक ने टॉप अप भी करने पाकिस्तान पैसे बिल्कुल फ्री भेजने मतलब के एक चिड़ी ने दूध छड़ी ता हर शय लबनी
जने ने आप उतरा
Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Telephone 01733 687374.
One of the most notable women who took part in the Battle of Uhud was Nusayba bint Ka'b. She stood firm with the Prophet, peace be upon him, acting as a human shield to protect him.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Sukhi Wahiwala, bringing to you live every Tuesday evening, Salam Radio, the Empower Hours show. So this evening, we're not going to let you down once again. We're going to be absolutely, in my opinion, amazed with our beautiful, amazing guest that we've got this evening. Before I actually introduce Marukh, I will just give a little bit of a ground rule so you can get involved if you'd like. You're going to be so impressed and so amazed by the achievements by this young lady and how she's actually taken what we classify her journey by the neck and actually delivered a complete package within entrepreneurship, and from property investment all the way through to being a restaurateur. And not just a restaurateur, but at the top level, at the top culinary delight. So if you're watching us here and joining us live now with YouTube Live, and if you're joining us now live with Facebook Live, please enjoy and please get involved as well. Our mobile number, our contact number for texts or WhatsApp is 07745 278 978. Alternatively, if you'd like to speak directly with Marukh this evening, then please dial through to 01733 602 and 133. This show has become quite an interesting journey for myself as well. I have had emails, I've had contact, communication from all over the globe, would you believe? We are now probably viewed in a number of countries, which I'd never expected. The other week I got a text from somebody in Kazakhstan. How amazing, via WhatsApp. And more importantly, I get our usual Pakistan and our usual India, but we also get South India now, Australia, lots of countries in Africa, India, and across the water in Americas, and also North America, aka Canada. What a great journey. Slovakia, which I call Middle Earth. My second home, actually. Hi to all of my friends out in Slovakia. Good evening for yourself as well. Similar timing. So I'm going to be sharing something locally for yourselves before I introduce my guest this evening. We are, Cambridge Radio, BBC Radio is looking for new voices, talent, and that kind of equipment. So we're looking at, you could be the new voice for Cambridgeshire, singing, even music. The auditions themselves are opening, and they're open now, Saturday 28th of September to 3:30 to 6 p.m. here in Peterborough at the Key Theatre. If you'd like to get involved, please do contact the actual office here on 01733 602 133. Alternatively, ESP Magazine and Vivacity are all part of the team as well. There's www.bbc.co.uk/new voices. That's NEWVOICES. So if you fancy yourself as being the next vocalist, which I think our next generation should be thinking about, get involved. Come out of your own comfort zone. Do something different today, just like our guest has. So, without much further ado, I'd like to introduce our amazing guest this evening. She's so humbling, such a beautiful person inside and out as well. And her name is Marukh Akhtar. And she is from Cambridge. Welcome, Marukh.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, honestly. You know, how a person, this is the Empower Hour show, how a person gets over their challenges in life and actually moves further forward. That's principally what our listeners here love to hear. Now, we can get nitty gritty, but I'm going to share some beautiful conversations. Today, Marukh has, basically, she has been involved in property for quite some time. She has a hotel, she has, and by the way, she's not that old either. So she has a hotel, she has a portfolio within the family, and we'll get close in the conversation of how that came about soon as well. But she also has recently released and launched a restaurant in Mill Road, if I'm correct.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. What number is it again?
Number 52.
Number 52 Mill Road. In Cambridge City itself, that's a CB1 location. And it's basically taking Indian, Asian, Southern Asian cuisine to another level, with a fusion base, but also, I mean, fusion's been done to death now, right? So it's not just about the fusion, it's about the flavors. It's about delivering a beautiful artistry piece on your plate in front of you as well. So if anybody's aware of her company, her business was called the Atiti.
Yeah.
And which actually means guest.
It does, yes.
It means guest in both Punjabi, in Hindi, and in Urdu as well. So welcome to everybody from around the world, and welcome once again.
Thank you.
Marukh. You've had an amazing journey in life. You know, how does a bioscientist, a person who's worked within chemistry and pharmaceuticals in one context, and more in the food and chemical ideas things, turn to entrepreneurship? Well, we're going to get very close with Marukh now. Marukh, are you a one and only child, or do you have other siblings?
I do. I have two younger brothers. One who is married and has got a 1-year-old. Oh, lovely. Well, hello to the team over there. And you basically recently you're in a company within the family as well. Now, you're kind of the eldest, I believe, of all your three siblings, right? I am, yes.
Okay, so just try and come a bit closer to the. So basically, we're talking, in essence, you've had a very different journey and upbringing. You've had such a great father role figure who actually. Your father's name was? My father's name was Jamil. Jamil Akhtar. Yes, and I'm quite privileged. I do love what I do. Mm-hmm. I think if I'd been asked 20 years ago, did I ever envision myself doing this? The answer would be no. No. Today, if anybody asked, is there anything else that I would like to do? Probably no. You love it. Yeah, I do. I do. Yes. Wow. So, in essence, just for the listeners tonight, just to actually understand why we've invited Marukh this evening to actually share her journey, is because not only is she a young lady, but she's from the South Asian descendancy. Her parents and family came from Faisalabad in Pakistan, and she's walked into an industry which is very male dominated, I would say, within the restauranteering, and she is a female owner of a brilliant restaurant with great food, with a great team, which we'll talk about as well, in Cambridge. And I think that's amicable, and more importantly, it's such a proud moment, I believe, for the community as a whole, to be supporting a younger sister in this new role. you've had quite a journey, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
So let's just touch base. You are born and bred in?
I grew up in Cambridge, so I spent my childhood there. The only time I went away was to study, and I accidentally fell into hospitality. Really, my father had been in hospitality since the 90s. He started getting involved in restaurants, and earlier than that in hotels. So growing up, we were always in that environment
and surrounded by incubation of work as a whole. Yes.
And it wasn't until around 2005 I got summoned back to...
As it happened, summoned you back. And anybody else who's understanding where I'm coming from, that's like a parental control summons. Get back into the business, I need a hand.
I think it was supposed to be temporary. His management team at the time, it newly opened, had pulled out. And, I was asked to sort of take reins, and I've never had run a restaurant before in that capacity and full involvement.
That's so exciting, but also I'd assume very fear-mongering. It's a very frightening concept to think about, to jump into something new, because as a child you waited a little bit in some of the restaurants, but you never really got to...
No, yeah. So I was really thrown into the deep end. I'd helped on this particular project in terms of branding, logo, interior. I did the fun bit, and I said to Dad, I don't think I can run it. He was like, "You'll be fine. I'll see you later."
As dads do.
Yes, and he was around, and I think the team that we had at the time, they were great, so they made it, easier. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's where I would say love for the industry really sort of began, yeah.
And it really has become a labour of love, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've done a multiple number of restaurants as well, but we'll stick to the first one for the moment. Now there's a lot of individuals out there. By no means are we condoning or condemning lack of further studies or going through to further studies, but you actually studied at master's levels. You did an MSc in
drug formulations.
In drug formulation, so at a very high standard. That's an amazing achievement. So well done to you. And then to take kind of like a bit of a 360 or a 180, you could say, back into the fold of family. How did you find that? Did you actually visualize? And this is just for the kids who are listening tonight. Did you vision that what you had planned out to do as academically? Did you feel a bit of remorse from that coming back into the family business?
No, not at all.
Not at all. That's wonderful.
No. My help was required. I was more than happy to do that. As far as I saw it, he was my father. If I could do something for him, then that was fine by me. And
what a beautiful sentiment, because I'm sure you would agree that somewhat changing in the next generation. By no means does this mean that the next generation is doing something wrong. It just means that maybe our parenting technique, and I'm a parent myself, maybe we're falling a little bit into a different remit, and we're hell bent, should I say, to give our children what we never had. And then I'm not sure whether that's actually the best option, is it?
Yeah, my father actually made it quite clear that he didn't want any of his children involved in his business.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And you don't know how you feel about something unless you try it. So when that opportunity came, I agreed, and I never really looked back.
Oh, well, God bless you. So I think, hey, of course, you've done an amazing job within there, but the humility that you're delivering and the love that your father and your mother have instilled in both yourself and I'm sure your siblings as well, it's very amicable. So it's a wonderful message for the next generation. It's great to have that respect factor as well. So going forward, just walking a step further forward. Now that you, at that time, and this was an era of around the 90s, is that what you said?
This is 2005 onwards. 2005,
yeah, so mid-noughties,
yeah.
So mid-noughties you were running a restaurant, and was that in Cambridge as well?
That was in Cambridge as well, yes. Yeah.
And was it kind of established before you got involved? Or
it was still in the family ownership. It was different cuisine. So we had rebranded and reopened as something completely different. It went from Mediterranean to Thai.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so completely different.
Even that's a very interesting conversation.
Yeah. I was there for about 3 years, moved on to the property portfolio. I focused for a number of years on that. I'm still doing that.
Well, good for you.
So I'm quite good at plumbing.
I've another
you have
friend.
to know these things.
Yes, good for you.
You do, and all the basics anyway. In case there's an emergency. And then I also got involved in our family hotel, which I now run full time, basically.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
So that's obviously another journey as well. So you've now, in essence, you've built up a beautiful portfolio of a hotel and property, and also you're very successful within this new venture of as a restaurant. So before we get into that, in the second half, what we try to do in this show is the first half we talk much about yourself, and the second half we'll talk a bit about your current guise in Atiti. If anybody wants to search for that, by the way, it's atiti.com, so you can search it, and of course frequent the location anytime you want in Cambridge. But as we were talking, you have had a beautiful journey up until now, but we spoke very briefly about a couple of things in there. I mean, it's fine when people hear and listen that, the people were born into business and they were in that flow. You took an academic journey, and also your father specifically had a very clear intention to not get the children involved in the business. So I would assume that if a parent was wanting their child to get into business, they would be sending these little one-liners, or should I say jewels, pearls of wisdom, into the conscious mind. Did you still find that your dad would talk to you about this stuff, even though he had probably planned that you weren't going to get involved in the business, irrelevant to the fact that he called you back in 2005, which I think is a wonderful thing? But did you find him kind of, in essence, you could say, opening you into the world of business?
No, prior to 2005, no.
He literally...
Yeah. Yeah, wow. I helped out in school holidays, on an ad hoc kind of basis, but this was full time, and that's really where he didn't teach me going forwards. I asked a lot of questions.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I did. I might have. He was very disorganised with paperwork, so I do a lot of that. I'd come across things, and I'd say, "Well, do we need to address this? Has this been sorted?" And that was the process, really, of learning. So that's how I learnt a lot of what was going on. Yeah.
Now that's so powerful, because I'm sure the listeners can agree. We're not born knowing everything, right?
No.
Every single day we learn something new.
Yeah.
Not a day goes past when I should be learning something. But the key to learning, I think we were touching on it earlier on, was actually the ability to ask good questions. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you find that very natural to yourself? I mean, because sometimes people have a problem with asking questions, and did you find it natural to yourself?
Yes, it was kind of like, do I need to know this piece of information? Because if I do, if it needs sorting out, I can help you. And that's the approach that I took. And sometimes he hadn't sorted something, sometimes he needed reminding. So yeah, it was a great way to learn, actually. And that's every day on a daily basis.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And myself, being somebody who's involved in the psychology realm for nearly 30 years now, with actually being an author to a philosophy and a thought process, the key to learning is actually the meaning behind. We call it Alfred Korzybski. He writes a bit of information that says, a beautiful book called Science and Sanity, and he says it's about the meaning-making machine within us. So we as human beings are nothing more than that. So being able to ask a question is always seeded by a deeply desired meaning of wanting to learn something new, and that is the easiest and the quickest way of absorbing lots of information. Yeah. So putting it into structure. So this has obviously been one of your secrets of success, of asking good questions and having good people around you, with your mum, your dad, and obviously your own professional circles as well. So going forward, if I can, you kind of evolved. We touched a little bit about the property sector. So you've also got your own hotel.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah. So you've had some teething challenges with that as well. It's nice just to share this with the audience, because then they can actually get to see the hard grafter that you truly are, and really the truly inspirational individual you truly are. So.
Yeah, I mean, every business is different. And it's basic, really, in how it's run. It's no frills. It's a budget hotel. But we had a 24-hour reception. So we had 6-7 staff, and we had this cycle, this chain that, if somebody left, we were under pressure. And, we did do breakfast, but things have moved on quite a lot. Yes, there are some great places that are now open at that time in the morning, where people have a choice and they can have breakfast. And we found that there was a huge demand for room-only rates.
Room only.
Room only. They wanted the cheapest possible, because a lot of our market for that, they are price sensitive. So that's, we started implementing changes basically according to that.
And did you find that the advent of things like Airbnb and Booking.com, Stay for Less, these sort of organizations which allow people to book on a short-term basis has actually helped carve that evolution of your business as well?
Back in the day, we're talking sort of 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, you used to get a lot of walk-ins and a lot of phone calls. That's primarily how people made their bookings. Now it is purely all online. So we've worked with Booking.com for quite a long time. We always encourage people to book direct. You get a better rate.
Don't forget that one, team. If you're listening, you book direct and you get a better rate.
So we dropped the whole breakfast, and then that has its other effects as well. We also implemented kind of like a self-check-in, really.
So you basically implemented, you could say, a leaner business model.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I take it you did something very similar to what we had to do. You converted the downstairs kitchen, the dining room into a bedroom as well.
The dining room became a bedroom.
Yes.
Our reception, our office moved to the back. The one at the front is going to become a bedroom.
Oh, so, wonderful. Yeah. I get this, Maximisation, this is business. So I want to just take it into a slightly different direction. Can you believe the time is running so quickly? We have 6 minutes left. I said it will still happen. If all the listeners just listening, she's such an eloquent, beautiful speaker, and she was just slightly worried about that being coming across correctly. But before we leave in the first half, I'd like to talk a little bit about, if I may, we've just touched on all these beautiful agenda sort of like growth curves that you've had and the things that you've achieved over the years, and you being a female entrepreneur, somebody who started within business, somebody who helped their parents, and then had to take charge. There's been some challenges in your life as well. I mean, sadly, you lost your father, I think, in 2015.
I did, yes.
Yeah, and it was quite a quick brief, and I'm not going to take the conversation into the conversation there, but with myself losing my mother in 2018 December as well, I can truly connect with what would have gone through your mind, and how hard it is to actually recover from that inner pain. Did you kind of feel that there was an element of you kind of had to take the charge and the reign a little bit, because obviously things had moved on a little bit, and really that elder canopy mentor had kind of removed a little bit?
Yes. My father wasn't just my father. I lost 3 relationships. So my best friend and also my business partner, and he was a soundboard. And so that disappeared altogether. And you have to then learn to kind of really trust your instinct, your gut. And if you're going to do something, do it with conviction. And obviously, I can be a bit impulsive, so I had to take my time a little bit. And I went through a period of mourning which, lasted nearly 3.5 years. And at that point, I thought, I don't know if I'm ever going to really recover. And so, I had to very quickly find my voice. I had to have awkward conversations, address difficult situations, and learn to say no. And people do have trouble saying no, but when it really, and that was accelerated because I didn't have a choice, really. There was nobody who was going to speak up for me, and so I had to do it.
That's such a strong decision to make, but more importantly, you took that decision and you were that strong person as well. So it's very amicable, very, very inspiring, should I say. And this is part of the reason why we had you on today, because your story is compelling, it's beautiful in one context as well, and it's painful as well, you know, in one context as well. But I believe that the listeners today can really connect with where the journey you took, and more importantly, that how you continued to achieve as well. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to just talk about something that is probably never been spoken in the public arena by yourself. And you mentioned it earlier on, that you suffered a little bit quite a bit of ADHD.
That's right, yes.
And so that would have molded your view of how you were successful or progressing, or concentration levels, and keeping focused on the one thing.
Yeah.
One of the core things within the kind of the cut through the mustard in that thought process, from my little and naive understanding, is the level of interest. How did you manage to keep that interest high during this period of time?
People who suffer from ADHD tend to find, when they find something that they really, really love, it's something they really focus on.
Got it.
Stuff that just is not interesting to them, they haven't got hope in hell, really, of doing anything about it. You know, tasks are left uncompleted, disorganisation, and it's been a process of 10-15 years of really getting to where I am by having that discipline. There are things I've had to put in place. There are other people who remind me, you know, and it's basic things, really. Setting, you know, sometimes I have no concept of time, so setting reminders, setting, you know, the clock, you know, the alarm, so I don't forget. Writing things down. I'm a complete paper magnet, so I'm quite old-fashioned like
me
that.
Too.
So yeah, there's things that, you know, coping strategies. Yeah.
So well done. I mean, I can't believe we are down to our last minute for the first half. And just for everybody who's following us, this is just a dream of a conversation, because we're talking about a very common psychological state, should I say, which is managed. But what has just been shared there very eloquently and very beautifully is the fact that if there's interest there, so if you're having a challenge with ADHD yourself, obviously, of course, reach out and please get yourself diagnosed early, because yours was undetected for quite some time.
Well, yeah, they were surprised I went undetected for such a long time. Yeah.
And so, but the success is around the corner. If you look at how Marukh has actually carved and basically designed her destiny in essence, and her track history, it's just been wonderful. I can't believe that we're down to our last 10 seconds of the first half, but I will welcome everybody to come back and listen to Marukh Akhtar, and the founder of Atiti group of companies.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
मेरा नाम मुकद्दस है और कोट मेरा घर है, और ये मेरे लिए किसी जन्नत से कम नहीं। हमारे भी कुछ ख्वाब हैं जिनकी ताबीर को हमें पाना है।
आइए इन बच्चों के ताबनाक मुस्तकबिल के लिए अपना हिस्सा डालिए। अपनी ज़कात, सदकात, खैरात और इमदाद कोट को दीजिए।
UK नंबर 0300 123 774। वेबसाइट court.org.uk।
Peterborough just got a whole lot tastier. Five Lads Flame Grilled Peri Peri Chicken is now open. Bring your family and friends to Peterborough's first HMC meat selling restaurant. We are experts in grilled chicken, lamb chops and gourmet lamb and beef burgers. Our healthy options include fresh salads and fresh grilled vegetables. Fresh, clean and healthy grilled food with 4 different flavours: lemon and herb, medium, hot and extra hot. 5-star hygiene rating. Eat in, order and collect, or order for delivery on Deliveroo. Follow 5 Lads Peterborough on Facebook and Instagram 5 Lads. 15 Cowgate, Peterborough, PE1 1LZ. Call 01733 56 22 87. Open 7 days a week, 12 to 11 p.m.
Al Murad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint. LED lighting. Laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Almorad Tiles, now open.
Had a car accident or an accident at work? Accident specialists are experts in no-win, no-fee accident claims. Leave the hassle to us. Our multilingual settlement experts will manage the entire claims process on your behalf, with nothing to pay up front. We provide services such as credit hire, taxi vehicles, recovery, storage and much more. For full details on our range of services and a free consultation, call us on 01733 555 774 or visit our office at 249 Lincoln Road opposite the NatWest Bank. Accident Specialists. Start your successful claim today.
Insure 24/7 is a community-based insurance brokerage offering competitive premiums and a great service. Taxis, properties and businesses, we cover them all. Call us on 01733 856699 or visit our new office at 304 Lincoln Road. Insure 24/7. We've got you covered. Insure 24/7 is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم وأموالكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. That Allah does not look towards your appearance and your wealth, but rather He looks towards your heart and your actions.
If you want to learn about Islam and Muslims, stay tuned to Salam Radio 106.2 FM.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Sukhi Wahiwala, on Salam Radio. This evening on the Empower Hour show. Now, we've got a bit of an announcement to make because obviously there is a slight challenge with us coming in and coming out, so it's not really a problem for yourself as listeners. We are now going to be live for the next 2 minutes or so, and at 7:32 we're going to be stopping for the Azan due through the month of Muharram. So in context, and then there'll be 4 minutes worth of Azan, and then we'll come straight back at 7:36, just to let everybody know. So just to confirm, we're going to be stopping at 7:32. The Azan will be playing for 4 minutes, and then we'll come straight back to the Empower Hour show with myself, Sukhi Wahiwala, and Marukh Akhtar, and we will be talking from 36 minutes past 7 all the way through to 7:56, so the usual run from there onwards. So we're back, and we've only got a few minutes, or literally a minute, to talk to you, would you believe? So we are going to be touching base with Marukh very shortly, and in specific, you're going to see how an individual actually cuts their name in the grain or in the ground and lays their stake on the ground as a very healed entrepreneur. Not only is she a female in the industry, in the space of restauranteering, which is very much dominated by the male domination of the southern Asian hemisphere, but also the fact that she's battled and fought through with a very late pickup of ADHD in her life as well, which, if anybody else is not aware of that, basically it's a real concentration issue. So we've only got about 10 seconds or so left now of this first bit, so we're going to stop for the Azan very shortly here on the Empower Hour, and with myself, Sukhi Wahiwala, and Marukh Akhtar this evening, and we're going to be back at 36 minutes past 7, just to be clear. See you soon. If I'm going to keep on talking, if it gets cut, then we'll stop straight in there, absolutely. So as a whole, this journey of conversation that we've been having with Marukh has been amazing. She's such an inspirational female lady, entrepreneur, full stop. That's principally the conversation. If you give me 1 second, I'm just going to double check that everything is going in accordance with that, because the Azan hasn't cut in. Okay, so we'll carry on then. 3 minutes Is that 3 minutes till we'll go live there, Michelle? Okay, well, we'll carry on. So, a slight technical change there. We're not really sure what's going on. Sorry? Okay, so at 33, so in a few seconds, I think. Hey, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for Maghrib Azan. This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Welcome back, team. It's Sukhi again, Sukhi Wahiwala on
If you want to learn about Islam and Muslims.
A little bit of a moment with the techie. There we are. So, welcome back after the Azan, and we are now with you on the Empower Hour until 7:56 as normal. So, welcome back. Welcome back to Marukh Akhtar, the founder of, we were just talking about a moment ago, Atiti. It's a lovely restaurant in Mill Road in Mid-Cambridgeshire, 52 Mill Road. So, Marukh, I just want to touch base with yourself a little bit about the fact that you were were open and honest with everybody here in this audience today, but about your challenges you faced a little bit with ADHD. Could you just help? Because sometimes a little conversation like this could really help one person in this world, and that's our vision tonight, right?
Yeah,
it's about empowering.
So I do think a little bit out of the box. I've known since I was very young that I've got a creative streak to me, and I do like to tap into that. And whatever project I'm involved in, I like to see on a creative level what it is that I can bring to make it a little bit different, I guess, or I see it from a different perspective. And perhaps there are some people out there that might feel that their thinking might be not the same as other people, or they see the world a little bit differently.
And that's okay, right?
It is, because I think consumers are open to new ideas and new ways of looking at things. So, if you've got something that you think is different, you never know, it could be the next best thing. And
well, in your case, you've actually proved it with the Atiti. But just to touch base about that, about difference and about the thought process that goes behind this. I know you're a God-subscribed individual, so somebody who understands that there is such a thing, whether it's involvement within, if anybody's listening this evening who doesn't actually understand that there's a possibility of God, but could understand that there's a possibility of the universe or the overall ether energies. So in reality, what's your view? I mean, I think that people, every single human being is selected with a uniqueness that's already embedded in them. So being that creative that you are, being that dedicated entrepreneur that you are, that unique signature that's within you, I would probably hesitate to say that. Would you agree in saying that it's just your signature of how you see the world, and that was the gift that was given to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how has it served you? I mean, for design work and creativity, how have you taken the challenge that other people perceive and see and turned it into this amazing drive? Because you've been a dream to talk to this evening and earlier as well.
I mean, I'm quite a visual person, so I love photography. I love images, and I love art as well. So, and I'm being quite visual. If I've got a brief, trying to kind of express it to the rest of the team can be a bit challenging for me.
Okay.
But where the audience is concerned, or our potential customer
client,
you've got basically just a few seconds of their attention.
Wow.
And that's all you've got to make an impact, basically, and to speak to them. And I like to do it visually.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's such an eloquent way of explaining that small attention period of time that you have with that customer, in essence.
Yeah, when they're first discovering you, it's like first impressions count.
Yeah.
To capture them and to get them to keep reading.
And then how do you deliver that through your imagery? In what specific have you found? I mean, if you talk me through what a TT is like inside. Was it something specific? Was there a moment in your inspiration you thought, that's it, that's me?
I had to. Here, I didn't have a complete free rein. I had to work with what I already had there. So, the backstory is that we exited a business that didn't work, and we had to basically go back to the drawing board. So whatever was there, we had limited money, resources, we had to make do.
So that's an amazing, sorry to stop you there, but that's an amazing, inspiring story within itself. If you faced a failing business, or a business that didn't quite work with its style or its original model, to be able to be brave enough to stop that and say, no, look, this is not working, let's reform this, let's evolve this story completely. So I applaud you on behalf of our audience and ourselves. It's such a strong thing to do, and such a powerful thing to do. So please do continue. What was the journey?
So I was with a franchise. So I was quite restricted with what I could and couldn't do. And I think it's just what I was going through at the time. And in hindsight, I realised I'd made a mistake because that wasn't really me. And a lot of self-doubt does creep in. So I had to, really, you have to be true to yourself.
Yes.
Trust your instinct, your judgment.
Beautifully said.
And that's what I basically chose to do. I thought I can do something. I'm sure we can come up with something that will work, and I'm sure our guests would love. Yes. And once you've, it's about the only self-doubt after something like that happens is about your ability, whether you can actually do it. And once you decide that you're committed. Yeah, you have to do it with conviction. And so we had to work with what was limited resources and what we had left, really.
Yeah.
And the team that was recruited, obviously they're recruited because their expertise surpasses mine, or I don't even have that in certain things.
Now, that's a really, sorry to disturb you again there, Marukh, but that's a beautiful vision and also a demonstration of true humility, because there are so many individual entrepreneurs that I know today that perceive themselves to have the answers. And what you've done is that model that you've just created, where you've taken the expertise from another individual and allowed that to come through into your own pot, in essence. That's beautiful. I think and did that inner trust, that alignment with self, has it paid off?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have to know what it is that you're good at and what, you have limited knowledge on. And once that team is there, you have to trust them to get, to do their job, and not to interfere in that process. We are all on the same page and we share the same values. We have this vision that we have for the business. And everybody has that role to play, their own role to play. So this bigger thing works.
Well, that's a very amicable and intelligent way of seeing business, because I have a lot of individuals who come to me for mentoring and working with myself, and they talk specifically around that delegation process of how hard it is to let go of something that they think they can do better. And I think what you've got this gift, if anything else, above all, that allows you to keep that humility about self and saying, I don't have to have all the answers, which is very, very powerful for a successful entrepreneur. You'll find that all of the entrepreneurs who've got to the top of the game are the ones who've empowered others to create the best of their life journey as well. So that's brilliant. So please, could I ask a little bit more? I mean, I heard a little story. A little bird told me a little story and said something along the lines of that finding your current amazing chef, I believe his name is Kamal,
yes,
was quite a universal alignment, right?
It was. I had been looking for a restaurant site for quite some time in Cambridge. They were quite tough to come by, so I'd been looking for about 5 years. And commitment. I always thought, well, I want to do something different. Because I tend to kind of do that. And I would always find myself on the pages of websites of Gymkhana or Benares or Tamarind, thinking, well, their menus are great. I've never actually visited.
But how amazing.
But I'd set my standard, basically, of what I wanted to create.
At the top notch, basically.
Yeah.
The best it possibly could be.
Sitting in Cambridge, yes, I decided that. My introduction to Gamal was almost never happened. It was a meeting that was never going to happen. I was incredibly demoralised, stressed at what was going on. Wow. And somebody kept constantly ringing me saying, oh, look, please meet this person. And I thought, I really don't want to meet another chef.
I've had my section, my
so it was a meeting that almost never happened. So at the last minute I agreed and said, that's fine. And he walked in and he said to me, oh, do you speak Hindi? And I said, no, my Hindi's not that great. And he says, oh, my English is not that great. And I said, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll manage. And we did. We connected.
Wow.
And then I went on to introduce him the same day, actually, to Jose, who's our maitre d'. And Jose is Portuguese.
basically the head of house. He's the manager of the retail side.
Yeah,
of things,
front of house. Yes. And they got along really, really well. And yeah, we had those. What you look for is those shared values, because when you're at senior management level, you've got to share those ideas and be on the same page. So it was fabulous for us. And so as our meetings went on, and we met 3 or 4 times, it wasn't. I didn't know anything about Gamal.
Okay.
I knew nothing about his background. I knew nothing about where he was working or where he had worked. We just got along really, really well. And it wasn't until our 3rd or 4th meeting, he said, "Oh, you know about my background, don't you?" And I said, "I'm really sorry. I don't. I should have asked."
As you do, yeah.
I should have asked. And he says, "Well, I've worked at Taj Hotel Groups in India.
Wow.
And I spent 8 years at Tamarind in Mayfair."
No, so Tamarind, the same company that you've been googling at and saying, I'm going to be looking at them with Jim Khanna and Banaras as well. And the universe just kind of
aligned us.
The person with you there.
Yes, he walked in and it was, I do think fate, destiny played a hand in that, definitely, because I don't see it happening. I don't see how else it would have happened.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I think our listeners will understand that they're quite a spiritual bunch. They've kind of got that alignment within themselves, and they've realised there's more to life than just what is seen on the page.
Yeah.
So going a bit further on with how you have kind of evolved, because you've got a front of house, Jose, who's such an amicable individual. He has a lot of knowledge around wines and drinks and stuff of that
That's
sort of nature
right,
as well.
yeah. That is his expertise, yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And high-end fine dining, yes.
Yeah, so fine dining, basically. So basically, Atiti as an organisation in the Punjabi word would say Atiti. So Atiti basically, in essence, is a very, very elegant way of saying guest. So people who are your guests, which are your clients. And where did this name come from? Because it's quite a unique way of kind of an expression of a very ancient way of saying a guest.
Yes. Well, I mean, I believe the history behind it is that it's all about being hospitable. When somebody arrives at your house, you have to wait on them hand and foot. They decide when they're going to leave, basically, and you have no choice in that. So, and it's a little bit like that, come in, be our guest, we'll look after you.
What a beautiful, genius thought. That I've never really seen restaurateuring like that, but somebody being a guest who then leaves upon their own will. That's such a paramount thought, because we're all restaurant eaters, right? So we don't realise that we leave on our own terms, don't we? How amazing. That's such a very deep thought. So who came up with the idea then?
We brainstormed. We
As a
asked
team?
everybody to write it all down, and actually when we came to that name, we said, well, what does this mean? And actually nobody knew.
Oh, so the name was selected without
the
knowing
name
the
was
background?
It was put down, yes, just as a suggestion, and actually they didn't know what it meant. So then I went away and Googled it, and that's how we found out its meaning, and we thought, right, that's the one we've got to go with.
So it's even there. There's even in the naming of the organisation comes in from that space.
Yeah.
So as you were, this is just a beautiful story in context. If we could just move a little bit further forward into the possible, any challenges that you had when you were setting up as a TT in Cambridge, that is, yeah.
We have had challenges, yes.
More on the level of, if I can share, what I'm trying to say is, were there any design challenges? Were there any staffing challenges? Were there teams? Did everybody seem to sort of gel together, or did you find that there was a little bit of friction occasionally, and that needed your intervention?
I was quite lucky because Gamal handled the kitchen side of things. He knew what he was looking for in people to assist him in the kitchen. Jose is, being Cambridge, there's an awful lot of students. So, he's a great trainer. so you wouldn't know that actually they are not from sort of a service background.
Wow.
And so he's done a great job with them. And you know, so I was quite lucky. I left them to it. It's training's not my thing, and cooking is
not your thing either. But eating it is very much so. So let's jump onto the cuisine, if I may. So could you just talk around the cuisine? What's the vision behind it? What's the hypothesis, in essence, behind the actual delicacies, the flavours?
We have taken traditional Indian food and basically evolved the flavours. That's Kamal does a lot of experimentation.
Really?
The heat does not come just from chili, and he decides what, the heat's going to be set at, the spicy level is going to be set at for each dish, so people don't get to choose.
Once you've kind of eaten it,
he knows what the level should be for each kind of dish in his opinion.
Brilliant.
And the heat and the spice is created through different things, fenugreek, mace. He uses unique ingredients, and so when you do eat a dish, you actually do taste everything.
That is superb.
Yeah.
So what really comes across is that the drive, but more importantly the attention and the sincerity that's put into the food by the looks of it.
Yeah.
And when you look at the food, it's basically using the word basically, I think incorrectly there, but what you have is an expression.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. It's it's creative, depending on the dish's colours, the plate that he uses, even shape, and it all comes together, and it is very visual, and it's supposed to be, yes, it's supposed to be a pleasurable experience. Yeah,
wonderful. So I'm going to just basically gonna have to come and taste it, aren't I? Really, I'm gonna have to come over there, and I think maybe I might well do that with the family. I'm sure they're saying, yes, Dad, go. But as a question to yourself, the food itself is halal meat based?
Yes.
And you have good dishes when it comes to fish and also veg, if I'm right?
We do. We've got quite a good vegetarian selection, and we've also got quite a few fish dishes. Yes.
Yeah. So just a question with the veg, because there's always an understanding of how. I mean, can't believe the time runs so quickly. But just to touch base quickly, if I can, with reference to the vegetarian dishes, I mean, are they equally as extravagant in flavour?
Yes. Some of them are really good. They are, yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this honest truth. I think I wish I'd had another hour with you. It's been absolutely beautiful in a lovely conversation. You're such a humble individual.
Thank you.
And I think the warmth comes across to the team who are listening today, the inspired crowd who listened to us this evening on the Empower Hours show. I hope everybody has truly enjoyed this, and if you'd like to give us any kind of assistance in understanding how we could modify and the kind of people you want to bring in, but for us, Marukh, you have been an absolute dream and a pleasure to have on this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are a true inspiration to the Southern Asian young lady. So God bless you all the way, and see you next week, team, on next Tuesday on the Empower Hour show.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Here at Children of Adam, we believe water wells and hand pumps are a significant step to empowering people